The annual shareholders' meeting of First Metropolitan Bank buzzed with old money and older prejudices. I adjusted my simple blazer in my back row seat, watching my parents hold court near the front. Dad, the bank's VP of commercial lending, and Mom, ever the perfect banker's wife. Sarah's still playing with her little Robinhood account. I overheard Mom telling her country club friends, "You know how young people are with these investment apps. If they only knew that my little Robinhood account had been the starting point of what was now Shadow Peak Capital, one of the most sophisticated investment firms in the country. The same firm that had spent the past year quietly accumulating First Metropolitan Bank shares through various shell companies. Did you hear about Sarah's latest investment?" My brother Michael, the bank's rising star in corporate finance, announced loudly enough for nearby rows to hear. She put her entire savings into some tech startup. Probably another GameStop dream. I smiled thinking about that entire savings, the $50,000 I'd inherited from Grandma 5 years ago. The same $50,000 that Dad had called wasted when I didn't deposit it in his bank. My phone buzzed, a message from Marcus, my head of operations. "Final share purchase complete. You now own 51% of First Metropolitan. Legal team ready for the announcement." Still throwing away money on stocks? Dad approached my seat, his executive smile not quite reaching his eyes. "The bank's paying 3% on certificates of deposit now. That's how real wealth is built, slow and steady." I thought about the past 5 years. While they believed I was gambling in the market, I'd built Shadow Peak into a $12 billion investment powerhouse. That tech startup Michael mocked? It had gone public last year, turning my initial investment into $100 million. Just one of many successful plays that had funded my systematic acquisition of their precious bank's shares. "Actually, I started, but Michael cut me off. Dad, the chairman's about to make the quarterly announcement. Something big is happening, rumors about a major shareholder change." My phone buzzed again. "Press release ready. Wall Street Journal exclusive confirmed. Your net worth calculation updated to $8.2 billion after latest acquisitions." The chairman, Thomas Sterling, approached the podium. My father straightened his tie, ready for what he thought would be another routine meeting. "Distinguished shareholders," Sterling began, "today marks a historic moment for First Metropolitan. Over the past year, a significant portion of our shares has been acquired by a strategic investor. Someone with a vision to transform banking for the modern era." Dad nodded approvingly, probably thinking about some old money investment firm. "Please join me in welcoming our new majority stakeholder," Sterling continued, "the founder and CEO of Shadow Peak Capital." I stood up slowly, smoothing my blazer. "Miss Sarah Mitchell." Mom's crystal water glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the marble floor. Dad's face drained of color. Michael's mouth opened and closed without sound. "Thank you, Thomas," I said, walking toward the podium. "Let's discuss how traditional banking needs to change." The bank's executive conference room had never felt more charged as my family practically stumbled in after the announcement, followed by the board of directors and senior management. "This is impossible," Michael kept repeating, frantically checking his phone. "Shadow Peak Capital. They're the ones behind the Morgan acquisition, the Pacific merger, and 12 other major financial deals this year," I confirmed, taking the chairman's seat, my seat now. "Though First Metropolitan is special. It's not every day you get to buy the bank that refused to give you a small business loan 5 years ago." Dad gripped the back of a chair, knuckles white. "The capital required to acquire controlling interest was about $4 billion, I supplied casually. "Though that's a conservative estimate given current market conditions. Your shares alone, Dad, were worth quite a bit. Thanks for selling them last month, by the way. That last 2% really helped secure majority control." My phone buzzed, a message from Marcus, Goldman Sachs, calling about partnership opportunities. "Also, your father's trading records show he sold at the recent low." Ironic. "All those Sunday dinners," Mom whispered, her perfect composure cracking, "when you talked about your investment strategies, were quite enlightening," I nodded. "Especially when Michael would mock my tech investments while revealing the bank's outdated digital infrastructure. Made due diligence much easier." Thomas Sterling cleared his throat. "Sarah's vision for modernizing our operations is exactly what First Metropolitan needs. Her track record with financial technology integration is unprecedented. Technology integration? Michael scoffed weakly. She's barely out of college. And already revolutionizing banking, Sterling continued. Shadow Peak's AI-driven investment platform handles more daily transactions than this bank has managed in its entire history. I pulled up our latest projections on the room's displays. First Metropolitan's current technology is about 15 years behind the curve. Your mobile app has a 1.2-star rating. Your cybersecurity. I shook my head. Let's just say it's fortunate I bought you before someone with worse intentions did. My phone buzzed again. SEC filing complete. Your appointment as chairwoman officially recorded. JP Morgan CEO requesting meeting. Dad finally found his voice. The board won't stand for this hostile takeover. Hostile. I laughed softly. Dad, I bought these shares on the open market. Some from you, remember? Taking profits before the dip. I believe you called it. The board members shifted uncomfortably. One spoke up. Ms. Mitchell's proposal for technological overhaul and market expansion is compelling. The projected revenue increases alone. Revenue? Michael interrupted. She doesn't understand banking. She's just a what? I cut in, displaying Shadow Peak's portfolio. A woman who turned $50,000 into $8 billion? Who saw the future of finance while you were clinging to obsolete methods? Or just the daughter who wasn't banking material? The room fell silent as the magnitude of the situation sank in. The bank they'd thought would be their legacy was now controlled by the daughter they'd dismissed as financially naive. The press conference is in an hour, I noted, checking my watch. Wall Street Journal is leading with Shadow Peak's Sarah Mitchell, the hidden hand reshaping American banking. Mom dabbed at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. Darling, we were just trying to protect you from financial mistakes. Like what? I asked. Like missing the cryptocurrency boom I predicted? Or the fintech revolution I invested in? Or maybe like selling bank shares at their lowest point because you didn't recognize who was buying? Marcus entered with a stack of folders. The transition team is ready, Ms. Mitchell. And the internal memo about executive changes has been drafted. Michael stood up sharply. Executive changes? Of course, I smiled. You didn't think I'd keep the same leadership that's been driving this bank into technological obsolescence, did you? Though don't worry, I hear Robinhood is hiring. The next morning I stood in my real office, the entire top floor of Shadow Peak's headquarters, a gleaming tower that made First Metropolitan's building look like a quaint historic landmark. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a perfect view of the financial district I was quietly revolutionizing. Ms. Mitchell, Marcus entered, tablet in hand. The global press is assembled. Your family is in the lobby with the bank's executive team. I smiled, remembering how many times they'd made me wait in that same bank lobby when I tried to discuss modern investment strategies. Send them up. They entered looking painfully out of place among the AI displays and digital tickers that covered my office walls. Gone were their condescending smirks, replaced by expressions that wavered between fear and desperation. Before we start, I said, activating the neural network displays, let's see what modern banking actually looks like. Real-time data flowed across the screens. AI-driven trading algorithms, blockchain transactions, predictive market analyses. Every number and pattern demonstrated how far behind First Metropolitan had fallen. Your automated systems, Michael muttered, staring at the figures. They're processing more transactions per second than our entire bank does in a month. Actually, per minute, I corrected. While you were bragging about your corner office, I was building the future of finance. Those little apps you mocked? They're now handling trillion-dollar portfolios. My phone buzzed, a message from Elon Musk. Brilliant integration of AI in banking. Dinner next week. Want to discuss potential Tesla banking platform partnership. Mom sank into a chair, her designer banking suit suddenly looking dated. All those investment ideas you tried to share at board meetings were worth billions, I nodded. The crypto portfolio you laughed at? Worth $3 billion now. The fintech startups Dad rejected for loans? Most are our partners now. Even that ridiculous NFT platform Michael mocked paid for one of my smaller buildings. Marcus entered again. Ms. Mitchell, the World Economic Forum panel is ready for your virtual keynote. Also, Warren Buffett is holding online too. Dad looked up sharply. Buffett? But he never invests in banks nowadays? I finished. He does when they're reinventing the entire financial system. Speaking of which, I pulled up First Metropolitan's internal data. Let's talk about your technological infrastructure. Or should I say lack thereof? The screen's filled with more displays, security vulnerabilities, system inefficiencies, customer complaints about online banking. Years of technological neglect laid bare in harsh digital clarity. Your core banking system, I continued, is older than I am. Your mobile app has fewer features than my first Robinhood account. And your cybersecurity. I shook my head. Well, let's just say it's miraculous you haven't been hacked yet. Michael stood up, his banking expertise suddenly feeling obsolete. But our traditional customers are dying out, I cut in. While younger generations are moving billions through digital platforms you don't even understand. Did you know First Metropolitan doesn't even have a crypto desk? In 2025. My phone buzzed again. BlackRock CEO requesting partnership meeting. Fed chairman wants your input on digital currency framework. Your position, Dad said quietly, as VP of Commercial Lending, will be automated by next quarter, I confirmed. AI can assess loan applications more accurately than humans now. Though I'm sure your country club connections will land you somewhere. Probably at one of the other outdated banks we're planning to acquire. The room fell silent as decades of banking tradition crumbled around them. Their prestigious bank was about to become unrecognizable to its old guard leadership. The transformation begins today, I announced, activating more displays. First Metropolitan is being integrated into Shadow Peak's digital ecosystem. Everything changes, the technology, the culture, even the name. Mom looked up, tears threatening her mascara. The Mitchell banking legacy will be remembered as the family that resisted the future until their daughter forced them into it, I finished. Though I suppose I should thank you. Every time you dismissed my ideas, you motivated me to prove them elsewhere. The doors opened as my global technology team filed in, followed by international finance reporters. The contrast between their cutting-edge discussions and my family's bewildered expressions was striking. The new era of banking starts now, I said, standing. You can either adapt to a world where financial power comes from technological innovation, not golf course connections, or you can step aside. Though, I smiled, I should mention that Shadow Peak now owns controlling interest in most of your backup career options too. My phone buzzed one final time. The message made me laugh. China's central bank requesting consultation on digital currency implementation. Also, your brother's executive parking spot has been reassigned to the AI server room. Your sister's right, Thomas Sterling said quietly to Michael. We've been measuring banking success by obsolete metrics. Not obsolete, I corrected. Just insufficient. Modern banking isn't about marble columns and mahogany desks. It's about processing power and algorithmic precision. I stood, preparing for the press conference. Oh, and about those Sunday family banking discussions? They'll continue, but now you'll be learning from me. Assuming you can keep up with the technology. Dad adjusted his tie one last time, a nervous habit from a dying era. Sarah, we never knew.